New this morning, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is suing a business owner from opening his chain of bars and restaurants today, which is in violation of Governor Tim Walz's Stay Safe Minnesota order. Chris Schiffler owns 6 Shady's bars and restaurants in the St. Cloud area and told NPR that he's opening for dine-in service on Monday against state orders barring dine-in service until June. Ellison is seeking an injunction and possible fines of up to $25,000 per violation. People in Minnesota are going to have to follow some new guidelines after the governor's announcement that the state will be lifting some of those restrictions and begin reopening. Joining us live this morning is the Valley Today's Abby Furchner, kind of breaking down some of those details. Some things can open, some things cannot.
Yeah, good morning, Lisa. As of Sunday, Minnesota has a total of 15,668 COVID-19 cases, with 699 of those being newly added. But despite those numbers, Governor Tim Walz announced last Wednesday that he is strategically moving forward with slowly reopening the state. And starting today, these are the new guidelines that people will still have to follow. Retail stores, malls, and Main Street businesses can open if they have safety measures in place, but are only able to operate at 50% capacity. People are also now allowed to gather in groups of 10. Restaurants, bars, salons, and gyms will still remain closed, but there has been discussion to open them on June 1st. Walz is also extending the peacetime emergency declaration to June 12th. This allows him to make temporary executive orders without approval of the legislature. This means he could once again close bars, restaurants, schools, and other businesses. So even though these restrictions are being lifted, Governor Tim Walz also recommends those that are at high risk to still take those necessary precautions and to be safe. But also he encourages all Minnesotans to work at home if they still can, wear a mask while out shopping, and of course practice social distancing even in those groups of 10. But a big day for Minnesota. Those guidelines go into place today. So we'll see how things go this time.
You're right. It is a big day. A lot of people are ready to see some movement. Others are not, and that's fine. To each their own. Abby Furchner reporting live. Thank you. Also new this morning, Fargo police are telling people to be aware of their surroundings after a couple of calls about what looked like a mountain lion on the city's south side last night. Some people say they saw it around Lemke Park, which is in the 1000 block of 32nd Avenue South. But officers were not able to find the animal. Game and Fish has been notified. Let's get a check now of our First Alert Storm Team forecast on what is already starting off to be a pretty nice morning. And we check in with meteorologist Lisa Green, who's working from home.
It is quite nice out there. It's looking nice and bright. We've got sunny skies, a few areas where we have some clouds passing through, but overall, looking good, feeling good. Temperatures this morning starting off with some 40s and 50s here in the valley. Bemidji now back up to 40 after dipping into the 30s earlier on. Fargo, Grand Forks both at 47, but Grand Forks has a few more clouds overhead. In Fergus Falls, we're at 50 and Devil's Lake currently at 51. So it really is a nice start to our day today as we are kicking off our morning. And taking a look at your radar and satellite map, you can see that we've got those passing clouds, but other than that, it's looking really good. We may see more clouds pass by as we head through the day, but overall staying mild and keeping that chance at some sunshine around all day long. One change is that we'll see some wind picking up with some gusts going into the 20s out of the east or southeast. So it'll start to get a little more breezy as we head into this afternoon. And you can see our highs right around 70 to 75 degrees in the valley. So very similar to yesterday. The only difference today really is that it's going to be a little bit more on the breezy side for your afternoon planner. Heading into the rest of the week, if you're thinking about doing some mowing, I know we're really greening things up, and we've got some good days for that here. Monday through Wednesday, dry weather, and maybe a little breezy, but otherwise good to be out there. And then Thursday and Friday, starting to get more questionable because of our chances for rain returning. And here's a look at that in your 7-day planner. We're going to be nice and mild and warm, in fact, feeling more like summertime. As we're heading into midweek, we'll be more and more likely to see places into those low 80s. And then kind of cooling back for the rest of the week as we see chances for rain and even some thunderstorms ramp up. Now, heading into the holiday weekend, Saturday and Sunday, will be better bets for rain, especially heading into Sunday. And you can see temperatures still mild, but maybe not quite as nice as what we're looking at for the first half of the week here this week. So something to keep in mind if you have some plans. And of course, we'll have more details on this as the holiday weekend draws more near. At least we're looking at temperatures that stay on the mild side. And we want to check in now with Devin Fry for the Valley Today's Traffic on the Move.
Thanks, Lisa. We're going to finish up our morning drive here on I-29. For this hour, we're heading south toward South Dakota. Now, overall, the traffic flow this morning really hasn't picked up that much since we first got out here on the roadways. It's a little bit more crowded in the northbound lanes of I-29, but as you can see over here on the south side, everything is looking pretty wide open. So good news is you're making your way out the door. Now, when we went by I-94 just a little bit ago, that was a little bit busier than what we're seeing out in front of us here on I-29, but overall, still not quite at the level that we expect it to be. Now, I-94 are going to be getting a little bit busier today. Now that Minnesota is lifting some of their restrictions there, we expect a busier traffic flow throughout the morning, so we're going to keep watching that in the next hour in the Fargo CW. Before I get out of here, I just want to remind about lane closures one more time. University Drive closing this morning. That's going to be from 11th to 12th Avenues. That's going to be reduced down to one lane. And for our friends up north in Grand Forks, University Avenue from 3rd Street to State Street, that's going to be closing lanes as well. So be on the lookout for that as you make your way out the door this morning. We're going to keep checking out the roadways in the next hour in the Fargo CW. But for now, for your traffic on the move, I'm Devin Fry.
7 K-9 teams from Colorado, Montana, and Wyoming are in South Dakota for a 4-day search for 9-year-old Serenity Denard. She was last seen in February of 2019 after running away from a residential youth home near Rapid City. The search changed from a rescue to recovery effort not long after Serenity went missing. Authorities say she likely would not have survived if she was outside in sub-zero temperatures. The K-9 teams will be in South Dakota through tomorrow. North Dakota health officials say an elderly man from Cass County is the state's 43rd death linked to the coronavirus. He was in his 90s and had underlying medical conditions. 35 of those deaths are because of the virus. 4 deaths are patients who died with the virus, and 4 are still pending death records. North Dakota also has 52 new positive cases, bringing the state total now to 1,900. 722 are considered active, and 1,178 have recovered. The Minnesota Department of Health is reporting another 22 coronavirus-related deaths, bringing the state's total now to 722. There are 699 new positive cases for a total of 15,668. 10,175 patients, however, no longer need to be isolated. To see the latest numbers of the coronavirus pandemic here locally, nationally, and worldwide, just use our VNL News app. It looks like the 2020 Minnesota legislature will need a special session to finish work on its major spending bill. A compromise $998 million bonding bill failed last night in the state Senate, and lawmakers are pretty much out of time. Today is the last day of the regular session. A proposed $2 billion bonding bill backed by the governor failed Saturday night in the DFL-controlled House. Governor Walz could announce plans for a special session during a late morning call today with Democratic leaders. A B-52 bomber from the Minot Air Force Base is taking off a little later today for a mission to honor our frontline workers during this COVID-19 pandemic. The plane is scheduled to fly over the Sanford Medical Center in Fargo right around 2:15 and then head north to Grand Forks to Buzz All-True Hospital around 2:30. The B-52 is also flying over hospitals in Bismarck and Minot. It was no ordinary car show at the Fargo South High School parking lot. More than 100 hot rod classics and done-up cars packed the lot yesterday for one man, Larry Schaefer. He has stage 4 lung cancer, and because he's not able to do many of the things he wants to do amid this COVID-19 pandemic, his daughter had the idea to host a special car show for the biggest gearhead she knows. Each car, truck, and motorcycle took their turn driving past Larry's home to put on a personal show. Deer licenses are up in North Dakota for the 2020 hunting season. State Game and Fish says just over 69,000 will be allocated. That's up about 3,500 from last year. Hunters need to apply for a license by June 3rd. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. 5 in 6 Americans under the age of 18 have never used one of these. We had a lot of great guesses this morning because everything's different for those kiddos. The answer to this question, though, a postage stamp. Makes sense. They probably don't write a lot of letters or pay a lot of bills. Remember, you can play along every weekday morning by checking out the question on our Valley News Live Facebook page. Here on the Valley today, we want to thank you for tuning in to watch our coverage. We want to reassure you that we're working hard to make sure you're staying informed during this COVID-19 pandemic. There are several ways for you to do that, including valleynewslive.com, our VNL News app, and also on our Valley News Live Facebook page. All for free, with no registration required. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but remember, the Valley Today rolls on. Join us right now for more live, up-to-the-minute local news and weather right now on the Fargo CW.